Information Security Maintenance, Lesson 11. Security Management Maintenance Model, Information Security Governance. In order to be effective, an information security governance program must be reviewed on a regular basis. System Development Life Cycle. The System Development Life Cycle, or SDLC. Security Governance Monitoring Activities. Plans of action and milestones. Measurement and metrics, continuously assessment, configuration management, network monitoring, and incident and event statistics. Information security ongoing activities in the SDLC versus initiation phase. Needs determination, security categorization, preliminary risk assessment, development, acquisition phase, requires analysis development, risk assessment, cost consideration and reporting, security planning, security control development 27, developmental security tests and evaluation, and other planning components. Implementation phase, security test and evaluation, inspection and acceptance, security integration, security certification, security accreditation. Operation or maintenance phase, configuration management and control, continuous monitoring, disposal phase, information preservation, media, sanitation, hard and software disposal, awareness and training. The first step is to define the difference between awareness and training. Awareness is a state of simply knowing something through observation. Training is the more extensive process of learning process and method to deal with the situation. Capital planning and investment control. Capital planning and investment control, or CPIC, is a systematic approach to selecting management and evaluating information. Technology investments. CPIC is mandated by the Klinger-Cohen Act of 1996, which requires federal agency to focus on the results produced by IT investments. Interconnecting systems. A direct connection between two or more systems is in different authorization boundaries for the purpose of exchanging information and or allowing access to information services and resources. Performance measurement is the process used to assess the efficiency and effectiveness of projects, programs, and initiatives. It is a systematic approach to collecting and analyzing and evaluating how on track a project or program is to achieve its desired outcomes, goals, and objectives. Security planning. Security planning considers how security risk management practices are designed, implemented, monitored, reviewed, and continually improved. Entities must develop a security plan that sets out how they will manage their security risk and how security aligns with their priorities and objectives. Information technology contingency planning. IT contingency planning refers to the plans, policies, procedures, and technical measures that enable to recover of IT operation after an unexpected incident. A disruptive event that could include a major natural disaster such as flood or something smaller, such as malfunctioning software caused by a computer virus. Risk management is the process of identifying, assessing, and controlling threats to an organization capital and earnings. This risk stem from a variety of sources, including financial uncertainty, legal liabilities, technology issues, strategic management errors, accidents, and natural disasters. Certification, accreditation, and security assessment. Certificate of accreditation means a document issued by an accreditation body that attests to the laboratory's competence to carry out specific testing analysis. Certificate and accreditation is a process for implementing an informal process. It is a systematic procedure for evaluating, describing, test, and authorizing system or activities prior to or after the system is in operation. The process is used extensively across the world. Security service and products acquisition. Acquisition of securities shall mean the process of acquiring certain portion of securities placed by the issuer without legal liability for the matter to make decision thereon. Incident response. Incident response is an organized approach to addressing and managing the aftermath of security breach or cyber attack, also known as an IIT incident, computer incident, or security incident. The goal is to handle the situation in a way that limits damage and reduces recovery time and cost. Configuration management is a process of maintaining systems such as computer hardware and software in a desired state. Configuration management is also a method of ensuring that systems perform in a manner consistent with expectation or over time. The security maintenance model focuses on maintaining system areas or domain, external monitoring, internal monitoring, planning and risk management assessment, vulnerability assessment, and remediation, readiness, and review. Monitoring the external environment. Monitoring the external environment. The objective of external monitoring domain within the maintenance model is to provide the early awareness of new and emerging threat agent vulnerabilities and attacks that is needed to mount an effective and timely defense. External monitoring entails collecting intelligence from the data sources and then giving that intelligence context and measure for use by decision makers within the organization. Monitoring the internal environment. This is just important to monitor the external environment as the internal environment. That is the internal computing environment. The preliminary goal of the internal monitoring domain is to maintain an informed awareness of the state of all the organization's network informed system and information security defenses. Planning and risk assessment. The primary objective of planning and risk assessment domain is to keep an eye on the entire information security program. This is done in the part by identifying and planning ongoing information security activities that further reduce risk. Also, the risk assessment group identifies and documents risk introduced by both IT projects and information security projects. Vulnerability assessment and remediation. A primary goal of vulnerability assessment and remediation domain is the identification of specific documented vulnerabilities and their timely remediation. This is accomplished by using vulnerability assessment procedure which as documented to safely collect intelligence about network platforms, dial-in modems, and wireless network system. Documenting background information and providing test remediation procedure for the report vulnerabilities. Remediating vulnerabilities. The object of remediation is to repair the flaw causing a vulnerability instant or remove the risk from the vulnerability. As the last resort, informed decision makers with the proper authority can accept the risk. When approaching the remediation process, it is important to recognize that building a relationship with those who control the information assets is the key to success. Threat removal. Remove the risk by making the threat impossible to accomplish. Use standalone computer, voice network, readiness and review. Policy review, periodic review, and update to provide a current foundation for our information security program. Readiness review, major planning components should be reviewed on periodic basis to ensure the current accurate and appropriate. Rehearsals and war games. Rehearse major plan elements to make sure all participants are capable of responding as needed. War games, realistic simulation, readiness and review. The primary goal of readiness and review domain is to keep the information security program functioning as designed and continuously improving over time. Digital forensics. Use the two key purposes to investigate allegation of digital malfeasance, to perform root analysis. Organization chooses one of the two approaches when using digital forensics. Protect and forget focuses on defense of data and system that house, use, and transmit it. Apprehend and persecute focuses on identification and apprehension of responsible individuals with addition attention and on collect and preservation of potential EM that might support administrative or criminal persecution. Investigate what happened during attack and on asset and how attack occurred. Based on the field of traditional forensics, involves preservation, identification, extraction, documentation, and interpretation of computer media for evidentiary and or root cause analysis. Evidentiary material or EM, any information that could potentially support organization legal or policy-based case against suspect. Thank you for listening.